I love all sandwiches. They are easily my favorite thing to eat, but at the top of that list is the steak sandwich. The reality is beef on bread is close to culinary perfection. From Philly cheesesteaks to Pregano Pau, I'm not mad at any of them. But today I'm making my take on the legendary steak sandwich, which is layered with a roasted garlic and horseradish sauce, served on what is basically toasted garlic bread, and then absolutely bombed with Gruyere cheese. It also involves a simple but powerful dressing technique that really has changed the way I think about making one of these sandwiches. So let's jump right into the sauce. Classic roast garlic is wrapped up in foil, then baked slowly. And don't get me wrong, this is a delicious and easy way to cook garlic. But it takes a long time and it doesn't give you this garlic oil, which beyond being an incredibly useful thing to have around your kitchen, is also going to bomb this sandwich with so much extra flavor and aroma. Technically, this is more of a garlic confit, but it gets you a very similar note flavor-wise to roasting, so I usually use the terms interchangeably. Start by cutting the bottom of a head of garlic off. I like to use a serrated knife for this, then break it up into a small pot and cover the cloves with extra virgin olive oil. You want to cook this low and slow, so you could put this into a 350-degree oven for about 15 minutes, or set it over a low flame on your stove until the garlic is soft and golden brown. Let everything cool down and scoop or strain the cloves out. With some shaking, you'll see they pop right out of the skin. The base of this sauce is creme fraiche, which is the same as sour cream, but it has a slightly higher fat content, so it's a little bit less acidic and a little bit thicker, which helps with the spreadability. I'm a creme fraiche fan, but some grocery stores don't stock it, so sour cream will also work. If you have a mini food processor, add 8 ounces of the sour cream, all of the garlic, a tablespoon of prepared horseradish, and a teaspoon of salt. Then chop this up with your processor, but be careful to run it too long. Creme fraiche can sometimes over churn and separate in a food processor. This is probably too little volume to work in a full-size food processor, so if you don't have a small one, you can just mash and chop up the garlic and then stir everything together. This is a delicious and fresh sauce. It works perfectly on this sandwich. Let's talk steak. You can use any cut of steak you'd like, but I'm going with bavette, also known as the sirloin flap. It is not a very common steak here in the United States, which is unfortunate because it really is one of the most delicious cuts of beef out there. It reminds me a lot of the classic butcher's cut, the hanger steak, which is another great one, but quickly went from being very affordable to very unaffordable once the internet caught on to how delicious it is. But unlike the hanger, which has only one per cow and are also notoriously difficult to carve good steaks out of, the bavette is a large piece that is easy to clean, and the incredible flavor and texture of this meat is hard to overstate. It is delicious, my friends. So if you can find one or get one cut from your local butcher, give it a shot. I seasoned every side of the steak very thoroughly with kosher salt, then added some grapeseed oil to my smoking hot griddle and seared the steak on all 6 sides until the internal temperature hit 125 Fahrenheit, and then pulled it off to rest for at least 5 minutes. I'm just a humble chef, but to me, all you really need for a great steak sandwich is great steak and great bread. So if possible, don't skimp on your loaf. This is a great moment to find as good a bread as you can get your hands on. And the only criteria, in my opinion, is that it is a nice, chewy style to stand up to the chew of the steak. I went with a baguette, but ciabatta is also a favorite. Split it in half and take some of the garlic oil and brush it onto both sides. Then put them into your broiler or toaster and toast them for a few minutes until they're golden brown. Now let's get into the steak dressing that really has changed the way I think about making a steak sandwich. I used parsley, but any fresh herb will work. I picked the leaves off and then minced it up fine and tossed them into a bowl along with lemon zest and Szechuan chili powder. I love this stuff, but feel free to use any hot flake or standard chili powder you have lying around. Then I added some of the garlic oil. Now that the steak is fully rested, slice it nice and thin. With any of these so-called butcher cuts, which are notoriously flavorful, but do trade a little bit of tenderness for the extra meatiness, it is important to slice against the grain, which you can always find by looking for the lines in the meat and making sure that you're cutting through them and not with them. Then toss the sliced steak into the steak dressing. Tossing all of this flavor really brings the bright and punchy flavors of the rest of the sandwich and ties them completely into the steak. I really found this to be a game changer for me, and I think the technique is well worth a shot. I spread the sauce onto both sides of the garlic bread, laid the steak down, and added some leaves of baby arugula, fresh, coarsely ground black pepper, and then I took a chunk of Gruyere and grated it all over this thing to really bring it to the next level. The sandwich is delicious, and I hope you give it a shot. But anyway, that is all for me on this one. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.